either of you, looking back at the year that we've just had, are there some things that you can look to or point to as things that you've accomplished or that you're proud of, the work that's going on, and what are those?
Well, in our office, we really pride ourselves on having and providing the best constituent services in the country. So a lot of the accomplishments that I'm most proud of are not matters of big legislation in DC, but just ways in which we've helped solve problems for people in Northeast Wisconsin, whether it's getting veterans the benefits they need, helping someone deal with an immigration issue, or most recently, I got to notify some of the incredible young kids that we nominated to attend our military services academies, which is just the most rewarding thing I get to do. And I'm always blown away by how talented and patriotic these kids are. At the federal level, I'm incredibly proud of the work I've done as co-chair of the Cyberspace Solarium Commission with my good friend, Senator Angus King from Maine. We spent the last 2 years working and diving deep on cyber issues. We wrote our final report in March of last year. And of our 70 recommendations, we got nearly 2/3 of them into law. We've had a kind of a historically successful batting average for commissions of this type, and really, I think, affected the debate on cyberspace. And as I look at the national security conversation going forward, all of our lives in Northeast Wisconsin are going to increasingly depend on our ability to defend ourselves in cyberspace, whether it's getting your paycheck electronically, whether it's your healthcare and your electronic medical records, or whether it's how we heat our homes in the wintertime in Wisconsin. We need to do more to defend our country in cyberspace. We're under attack, and that's an issue where I've been able to make a lot of progress in the last year. I know I'm going on here. One thing I'd say is, because it's been a labor of love for 5 years now, we finally got it done. The first bill I got passed was authorizing a global war on terrorism memorial. We just got legislation passed that would give that memorial a place on the National Mall. So just like the Vietnam War Memorial, Korean War, World War II, for those veterans who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, they're now going to have a place of honor in the National Mall. And that's a cool thing that I'm looking forward to seeing, when I'm old enough to go on an honor flight. I'd like to see that.
That is very neat. What's going on with that? Just tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, now that we've got the authorization for a place on the mall, and we've created an actual commission structure, the next phase of this will be that outside structure will be able to raise money for the actual memorial itself, eventually design the memorial, what it looks like. These things tend to take a long time. For example, just last year, we got the Eisenhower Memorial finished. So that design process is going to take a long time. And then after that, we'll actually build the memorial. So this will be the work of many years, but all the more important that we got sort of all the legislative things necessary to make it happen done now. And that was a bipartisan effort. I introduced the bill initially 5 years ago with my fellow Marine, a Democrat in Congress that I serve within the Marine Corps, Seth Moulton. So just an issue that cuts across partisan lines, and that stuff is always very rewarding at a time when Congress is very divided on a lot of issues.
It is nice to hear that those things sometimes do work together and get done. As we look to the year ahead now, what are some of the things that you are hoping to tackle, some of the issues, some of the problems?
Well, I think foremost on everyone's mind is just where we are with respect to the pandemic. I really think we need to resist any urge to shut down again, particularly when it comes to schools in Northeast Wisconsin. I can't tell you how many parents I've heard from in the last year concerned about the effect on their children of school shutdowns and then having their kids spend even more time in front of a screen. I think we're not headed in the right direction more broadly in terms of educational outcomes in Wisconsin. It's why I wrote a very extensive report proposing a path forward for education reform in the state. And I really want to continue to work on those issues, as well as the national security issues that I prioritize given my defense background. I mentioned cyber before, but I really think we're reaching a critical moment with respect to our competition with China. I think China is going to get even more aggressive in terms of what it's trying to do in Taiwan. And there is much more we need to do to defend against that threat, because it's not just an over there threat. It's a threat right here. China's an economic threat. They destroyed millions of American jobs. China continues to ship fentanyl across our borders that's killing tens of thousands of Americans every year. And China's really trying to divide Americans against each other and harnessing a lot of the woke messaging we're seeing here in America. And so I really, in the new year, feel that part of my job is to defend this country against the threats we face from abroad. And I see China as our biggest threat going forward.
Sounds good. Now, on to more traditional Christmas holiday topics. Is there a holiday tradition that you look forward to around this time of the year in your family?
Well, I should say it's changed dramatically since my wife had our first child. So now she has, at the young age of 18 months, developed her own holiday traditions. Foremost among them is dancing around our kitchen to Frosty the Snowman, the old version sung by Jimmy Durante. So I've now listened to that song upwards of 1 million times, and it's forever ingrained in my head. But it was very fun. I love this. This is not that fun. I love decorating the tree. I have all these ridiculous ornaments from back when I was a kid that I still have to this day that my mom preserved. And now it was fun for the first year. Now that my daughter is much more interactive than she was as a newborn, she had fun watching us decorate the tree. So now she's found out how to like grab ornaments off the tree, and a few have been broken. So that's my favorite. That's right. The final thing I love, and I'm lucky because my wife is an incredible cook. I love having cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. It's something we've done ever since I was a kid, and luckily my wife agrees with that tradition. And so I'm very much looking forward on Christmas morning to watching my daughter open presents to the extent she understands it. And then I'm going to sit on the couch and eat a bunch of unhealthy cinnamon rolls. And then watch the Packers beat the Browns.
There you go. Sounds like a great Christmas day. And I can almost smell the cinnamon rolls. How about one last thing? How about going ahead after Christmas, New Year's resolutions? Anything on your plate?
Well, in recent years, I used to be very ambitious with my New Year's resolutions. Now I've come to believe that the best resolutions are actually subtractions. So every year I try and subtract things that are impeding my performance or standing in the way of me sort of reaching a goal. And usually I'll have sort of one professional, one personal, and one in terms of my health and fitness. And so I'm actually in the whiteboard to the right of me. I swear this is true. I have a list of all of my potential 2022 subtractions, but I have not yet narrowed it down to the final 3.